quote, those who are willing to see reality as it is can change that reality and begin to live a life beyond one defined by regret and remorse. What do you think about this woman?
Well, we kind of agreed that you got to see it to experience change, but we said we have to go to God to get change. We can't produce it ourselves.
Well, and if we're going to say see reality, that's where God comes in.
Right. Even that's a God moment.
Because we can't see. Sometimes we think we see. Have you been there? I think I see what's going on.
Yeah.
But then later, sometimes it's years later, where we look back and say, you know what? I missed it. I missed it.
I thought about someone walking out into the ocean and the waves come in. The reality is those waves are going to hit that. When they hit you, they knock you back. Now you can ignore that and say, well, that's not reality. Well, that doesn't change the fact that they're still going to smack you, But as you go through them, you get out, eventually it becomes calmer. It's not like something hits you. You're still in a bobbing kind of thing. But you can get through that. One thing we got to was when Dad died. Okay? He died by suicide. And it doesn't have to be a death. You could be someone just die on our bedside. But if you can get past asking the why questions, there's no answer to a why question. There's too many variables in there. You have to get beyond asking the whys and just say, okay, how do I progress from here? You have to have a change in your attitude. You have to have it. There's always going to be another why question. You get an answer to one. And their family was really in turmoil with that. Because they couldn't come to grips with, why did he do that? Why? You can't answer that. He wasn't there when he killed himself, really. But he was overwhelmed by something that he was fighting depression and he had some issues. He dropped off his medication and had even balance. There was just a lot of things,
But that's the point, to see reality as it is. Reality is that we'll never know why. And some of us are trying to figure a lot of stuff out. That's not our job. That's not reality. We think that's reality. We think that that's what we ought to be doing. But oftentimes, it goes back to when someone dies, what happens is regret and remorse. When someone dies, maybe I should have done this. Or I could have done this. I could have been here. I could have done... That happens, no matter what kind of death there is. There is oftentimes regret. I should have been there, or we could have. You tell me what relationship you don't have on the earth that you couldn't have done something more.
One thing, the son, he goes, I'm going to spend more time with my son. But that's one thing he regretted was he didn't spend time with his dad as much as he should have. And he missed out on that. Dad was a reserved kind of a person. But he resolved to allow that reality of what happened to his dad not affect him and his son. He determined
He moved forward. That actually helped him move forward. As a stepping stone versus a stumbling block.
We're going out there this weekend. I need to ask him about that because that would be important for him to just visit that again. Hey, Ray, how's it going between you and your son? Are you spending some quality times like that? I can say.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's encouraging.
and it may hit you in the moment emotionally, but unless things change in a person's life, they won't spend time with their son. Reality may be it never really took place. It was a response. I've heard a lot of people say that, I'll never go back to this again. I'll never do this again. I'm going to change in this. It doesn't happen. It was in a moment. There was a moment there. But there are other things that are in a person's life that means in order to shift, there has to be other realities that come in. I need to look at how I spend my time. I need to look at my priorities. It's a huge thing to change. To change. And the big thing is willing. Those who are willing. Are we willing to see? We can't see something. How do we see something we don't see? How do we do that? How? Because we know this. If we don't get beyond where we're at and see something we're not seeing, we'll remain the same. So how do we get to that next place and see what we don't see?
Roy and I was just talking this weekend about his.
You guys are talking? That's good.
His cousin hit his dad and killed him, and when Roy was 14. And his cousin was drunk when he hit his dad, who was also drunk. And this guy, Roy said when you'd see him or something, he would just begin to sweat and begin to cry. And, when Roy would see him or something because he knew what he had done, the regret and remorse was there. And he hasn't drank since that day. Since that day, that man has not picked up a drink or anything to drink.
Wow.
Because it was such a tragedy and such an eye-opener,
Did he have to serve time or anything? What
I
happened
don't
with
believe
that?
so. I don't believe so, because they were both drunk. His dad was drunk, but his dad was walking on the side of the road when Paul hit him. Knocked his watch 200 feet off his body. So, yeah. So, remorse and regret, but
Boy, that put a deep wound in that family
oh yeah.
and all
Yeah.
the relationships.
But all of them love Paul. They all love him. They've all accepted him and embraced him. There's no hard feelings,
That's,
which is forgiveness, Forgiveness.
there's several parts of those who are willing to see reality as it is. That means being open to ideas that are foreign to us, that are new, that are different.
Right.
Or else we're going to just remain in that place. And that sometimes comes from sources that we don't like them. Sometimes they come from, that means that's a humbling act. It takes a humble heart to go here. It says, those who are willing to see reality as it can change that reality. The change is at least possible. It doesn't say they will change. They can change. At first, it will make you miserable. When you see that things aren't right, it will cause irritation. But that's the first step towards change, is irritation. I'd like to tell you something different. Irritation, if you are irritated enough and it bothers you enough, you will do something about it.
Right.
Come on now, isn't that right?
It is, unfortunately.
And you will get help wherever you'll get the help you need. You'll get out of your place.
Right.
And you can begin then to live a life beyond one defined by the past. That's what this is saying. By regret and remorse. Lots of times we live in the past.
That's right.
Here comes Jeff. I can't even see Jeff anymore because I view him from the past. I don't see him as he is now. And lots of people, that's the way we live our lives in our home. We don't see who we are now. We see who we were. We live out of our past. We don't even live in the present. We're not even there presently. It's hard to be present. That means we have to be very, very open to brand new things with each other. That means becoming vulnerable. And we can start moving. You carry the bricks from your past relationship, you'll end up building the same house.
That's good.
Yeah, I can't read it.
That isn't even by, I don't know, it's some ChristianWisdom.tumblr. You carry the bricks from your past relationship, but you'll end up building the same house.
Amen.
People that, I mean, why should it be any different? I mean, this is what I asked this to of Robin and Chris. Both been married before. Why is this relationship going to be any different and end up any different than the other ones? I asked you that question. Unless, and the same thing about churches. Same thing, you know. If you carry your bricks from the past, same old thing. Relationships, work, friends. All of us have a lot of bricks. And we stumble over them. I don't even know if we see them that much. We're sort of blind. We just sort of carry them around. We stumble over them. And other people stumble over them trying to get to us.
That's right.
And we run into their bricks. And we can't even see each other. You know what I'm talking about? There's so many bricks. Till someone, you know, sometimes we need someone to knock us on the head a little bit. Here's a brick right here, man. Do you see this thing? You've been throwing at me every time I see you. Can we put this off to the side? It's hard because I got to get past this thing, and it's not working. Resentment destroys the fool. I don't even know if we realize how many resentments we carry. We just carry them, folks, and we live with them. It's our protection, so we don't get hurt. But instead of just walling others out, we wall ourselves in. We wall the problems in. Walls. I know resentments are starting to seep in when what? Describe the kind of attitudes that say resentments are starting to seep in. Describe the actions and the behaviors, and describe the thoughts someone has when resentments are present. Okay.